You lie still, allowing the night to hold you. The ground beneath your body feels steady and patient, while above you the sky opens into depth without edges. Stars scatter themselves like quiet thoughts across a dark canvas, and for a moment it feels as though nothing is happening at all. The universe appears calm, paused, resting alongside you. But this stillness is only an illusion, a gentle trick of distance and scale. As you breathe in, you imagine the sky breathing with you. Not dramatically, not with effort, but with the slow confidence of something that has all the time it needs. Space itself is stretching, expanding in every direction at once. Not from a center you can point to, not toward an edge you can see, but everywhere, evenly, like a calm inhale that never quite ends. The universe is not rushing away from you. It is simply making more room. This idea settles softly in your mind. The night sky is not frozen. It is alive with motion so gradual that it feels peaceful rather than alarming. Galaxies are drifting apart, carried by the quiet widening of space between them. Not because they are pushing away, but because the fabric they rest upon is slowly, patiently loosening its weave. You are watching something ancient continue its work without needing your attention. For most of human history, the stars were thought to be fixed, pinned forever into place. The sky felt permanent, dependable, unchanging. Even now, your eyes receive light that has traveled for millions or billions of years, making the universe feel distant and settled. Yet beneath that comforting appearance, change is unfolding. Space is not a backdrop. It is an active participant in the story. You let this realization arrive without urgency. There is no test, no lesson to master. Just the feeling of being held inside something vast that is quietly becoming vaster still. The expansion is not an explosion or a forceful tearing. It is closer to the slow spreading of warmth, or the way silence deepens when the world finally falls asleep. Long ago, the universe was smaller, denser, warmer. Everything was closer together, like thoughts before they separate into words. Over time, space began to stretch, carrying matter along with it. This expansion was expected, even comforting, like a stone thrown upward that must eventually slow. Gravity, after all, pulls things together. It gathers, it binds, it reassures with weight. And yet, as you rest here, the universe does something unexpected. Instead of slowing down, it eases into a gentler but more persistent motion outward. The expansion does not weaken. It continues. Something unseen is encouraging space to keep opening, to keep relaxing its grip on closeness. The universe is not growing tired. It is growing more spacious. You do not feel threatened by this. There is no sense of being left behind. Expansion on this scale does not tug at atoms or bodies or breath. It works only across the largest distances, where galaxies drift like slow-moving lanterns on an endless sea. Locally, everything remains familiar. Your body stays intact. Your thoughts stay near. The widening happens far beyond your immediate world. This makes the mystery feel safe enough to explore. Whatever is driving this expansion is subtle, not violent. It does not shout its presence. It leaves no visible trail in the sky. Scientists give it a name, dark energy, not because it is evil or dangerous, but because it remains unseen and difficult to describe. A placeholder for something real, yet elusive. You imagine it not as a thing, but as a tendency. a preference written into the universe itself. A gentle instruction that tells space how to behave when left alone. Where gravity gathers, this influence allows release. Where matter clumps, this presence encourages distance. It does not erase structure. It simply softens the boundaries between faraway things. As you lie beneath the stars, you sense that this expansion has no awareness of you, and yet includes you completely. You are not separate from it. Your atoms were once part of much denser regions of the universe. Your existence is made possible by earlier eras when gravity dominated, when closeness allowed stars to form and elements to be forged. Expansion came later, quietly reshaping the future without undoing the past. This balance between change and continuity feels deeply calming. Nothing is abrupt. Nothing is wasted. The universe adapts without erasing its own story. Expansion does not destroy what has already formed. It simply alters what comes next. You feel a quiet trust in this process, as though the universe knows how to take its time. You notice how easily your thoughts mirror this behavior. As you relax, your mind also expands, drifting gently from one idea to the next. There is no need to cling tightly. Thoughts can move apart without disappearing. Space between them brings calm, not loss. In this way, your inner world reflects the structure of the larger one. The night continues to deepen. Stars remain steady in your view, even as space between them grows imperceptibly wider. The change is too slow to witness directly, yet real enough to shape everything that follows. You are learning that stillness and motion are not opposites. They often exist together, layered quietly on top of one another. You breathe again, slower now. The universe continues its patient stretch, indifferent to clocks and calendars. There is comfort in knowing that not everything depends on effort or intention. Some things simply unfold because that is their nature. Expansion is not a decision. It is a condition. As sleep begins to approach, curiosity stays with you, softened but awake. You sense that this gentle stretching has a history, one that began subtly and surprised those who studied it closely. The universe did not always behave this way. Something changed, quietly, long ago. And as your thoughts drift, you feel ready to follow that change backward, into an earlier time, when expansion learned to move just a little faster. You allow your thoughts to move backward in time, as gently as turning over in sleep. The stars above you soften and blur, not disappearing, but drawing closer together. The universe you enter now is younger, smaller, warmer, and more intimate. Distances are shorter here. Everything feels nearer to everything else, as though space itself has not yet learned how to stretch fully. Expansion already exists in this early cosmos. Space is growing, yes, but in a way that feels measured and thoughtful. Like a steady walk taken without urgency. Galaxies drift apart slowly, carried by momentum left over from the universe's beginning. There is no rush. Gravity still has a strong voice, gently tugging matter back toward itself, reminding everything of closeness. You sense gravity everywhere in this younger universe. It is confident and familiar, gathering gas into stars, stars into galaxies, galaxies into clusters. It works like a quiet embrace, shaping structure and giving the cosmos texture and form. For a long time, it seems reasonable to expect that gravity will eventually slow expansion down, just as a thrown ball must pause and fall. This expectation feels intuitive, even comforting. After all, gravity is patient and persistent. It never stops working. It does not tire or forget. As the universe expands, matter thins, but gravity continues to whisper, asking space to hesitate, to reconsider, to slow its outward motion. For billions of years, this gentle contest unfolds. Expansion continues, but its pace gradually eases. The universe feels like it is coasting, letting its initial energy fade while gravity patiently reshapes what remains. Stars are born, burn, and fade. Galaxies grow graceful arms. Structure deepens. Time passes without drama. You imagine scientists watching this process much later, measuring distant galaxies, expecting to confirm this slowing expansion. Their tools are careful. Their patience immense. They observe light that has traveled unimaginable distances, carrying information from earlier eras of the universe's life. Each photon is a small archive of cosmic history. At first, everything seems to align with expectation. The universe expands. Gravity pulls back. The pace should be slowing. But as measurements become more precise, something subtle begins to feel off. The numbers do not settle where they should. The universe does not behave as predicted. You feel the moment of quiet confusion. Not alarm, not excitement, but a soft pause. The kind that happens when reality gently disagrees with a well-loved idea. Observations suggest that expansion is not slowing anymore. It is doing something stranger. It is speeding up. This change does not announce itself loudly. There is no sudden jolt or visible shift in the sky. Galaxies do not jerk away. The acceleration is subtle, revealed only through careful comparison and deep time. Yet once seen, it cannot be unseen. The universe is not merely expanding. It is learning to grow faster. You sit with this realization as it settles. Somewhere in the universe's middle age, long after stars and galaxies have formed, a quiet transition occurs. Gravity begins to lose its dominance over the largest scales. Not defeated, not gone, but gently outweighed by something else. The expansion begins to accelerate, not because galaxies push harder, but because space itself behaves differently. The fabric between galaxies stretches more eagerly, as though discovering a new preference. The universe does not resist this change. It accepts it seamlessly, without disruption. You imagine space relaxing its grip, loosening slightly with each passing moment. The farther apart galaxies become, the more space there is to stretch. And the more it stretches, the easier stretching becomes. Acceleration arises not from forceful motion, but from quiet permission. This is what surprises those who study it. There is no clear trigger, no dramatic event marking the shift. No explosion. No boundary. Just a gradual realization that the rules governing the universe's behavior include more than gravity alone. You feel a sense of humility in this moment. Even the universe, vast and ancient, holds surprises within its own evolution. It changes its rhythm without asking for attention. Acceleration emerges not as a disruption, but as a continuation, a new chapter written in the same calm hand. The universe does not hurry emotionally. It does not feel urgency or excitement. Acceleration here is not frantic. It is steady, consistent, smooth. Like a long, gentle slope rather than a sudden drop. The future opens more quickly, but never abruptly. As you rest with this idea, you notice how naturally your mind adapts. At first, faster expansion sounds dramatic. But when imagined over billions of years, it feels almost tender. A slow realization unfolding at cosmic scale. Nothing breaks. Nothing panics. Gravity continues to work where matter remains close. Stars still orbit. Galaxies still hold together. Solar systems remain intact. Acceleration affects only the vast distances between galaxy groups, where space itself becomes the dominant storyteller. You sense how carefully this balance is maintained. Too much acceleration too early, and structure might never form. Too little, and gravity might eventually reverse expansion altogether. Instead, the universe finds a middle path, allowing complexity first and spaciousness later. This timing feels intentional, even though it is not planned. The universe follows its nature, unfolding possibilities in sequence rather than all at once. You find comfort in this patience. Nothing arrives before it is ready. As your thoughts begin to slow again, you recognize that this acceleration demands explanation. Something unseen must be influencing space, encouraging it to stretch more willingly over time. A presence not felt through touch or light, but through behavior. You do not name it yet. You simply sense it approaching, like a concept forming at the edge of awareness. The universe is expanding faster, and the reason is not obvious. Something quiet is at work, something that does not pull, but gently urges outward. And as you drift towards sleep, you feel curiosity remain awake just a little longer, ready to meet the unseen influence that makes acceleration possible. You rest inside the question now, letting it surround you rather than demand an answer. The universe is expanding faster, and something unseen is responsible. Not a force you can point to, not a particle you can hold, but a presence inferred through behavior. You do not see it directly. You feel it through what space decides to do. You begin by letting go of familiar ideas about weight and force. Most things that influence motion do so by pulling. Gravity gathers. It draws matter inward, encouraging closeness, density, structure. You understand this instinctively, because you feel gravity every moment you live. It keeps you grounded, anchored, reassured by weight. But what you are sensing now behaves differently. This influence does not pull anything toward anything else. It does not clump or compress. Instead, it allows distance to grow. It encourages separation without destruction. Space responds by stretching more easily, as though something has reduced its resistance to becoming larger. You imagine it like pressure that comes not from pushing, but from easing. Like a room that feels larger not because its walls move, but because the air inside relaxes. The universe experiences something similar. The farther apart galaxies become, the more this influence seems to matter. It does not fade with distance. It becomes more noticeable. Scientists call this presence dark energy, not to give it personality, but to give language to mystery. The word dark does not mean hidden on purpose. It means unseen by light. It does not glow, reflect, or absorb in a way telescopes can capture. Its existence is revealed only through what it causes space to do. You sit with the idea that emptiness itself might carry weight. Not weight that presses down, but weight that changes behavior. In physics, empty space is not truly empty. Even when matter is absent, space still has properties. It can stretch. It can curve. It can respond. Dark energy seems to live in this quiet background. It does not gather in pockets. It does not flow or drift. It appears evenly spread, present everywhere space exists. Every region of the universe contains it equally, like a constant hum beneath all structure. This uniform presence explains something subtle. As the universe expands, matter becomes more spread out. Gravity weakens across large distances because there is less mass per volume. But dark energy does not dilute. Its influence per unit of space remains the same. So as space grows, its total effect grows with it. You feel the elegance of this balance. At early times, when matter was dense, gravity dominated. It shaped stars, galaxies, and everything familiar. Dark energy existed then too, but it was overwhelmed, like a whisper in a crowded room. Only later, when space became vast and matter thin, did the whisper become audible. You imagine a scale tipping slowly, not abruptly. No moment of victory, no sudden overthrow. Just a gradual shift in which influence matters more. Gravity continues to work locally, holding galaxies together. Dark energy works globally, shaping the future of distance itself. This is why it feels so elusive. It does not announce itself with fireworks. It does not disturb what is near. It only reveals itself across the largest spans of time and space. To notice it, you must look far away and far back, comparing what should be with what is. You notice how this mirrors your own experience of subtle change. The most profound shifts in life often happen quietly. Not in moments of drama, but through slow accumulation. A habit forms. A perspective widens. One day you realize something has changed, even though no single moment caused it. Dark energy feels like that kind of presence. Always there, rarely noticed, shaping outcomes over long durations. It does not interfere. It allows. It creates room. Some scientists imagine it as energy inherent to space itself. Not something added later, but something written into the fabric of reality from the beginning. Wherever space exists, this energy exists too, contributing a gentle outward pressure. You do not imagine it as a substance filling space like mist. It is more like a property, the way elasticity is a property of rubber, or warmth a property of sunlight. Space behaves differently because of it. Stretching becomes easier, preferred, natural. You let this idea settle without resistance. It is okay that the universe contains influences you cannot picture clearly. You already accept many things you cannot see. Time, for instance. Or thought. Or gravity itself. Dark energy joins this family of real but intangible presences. As you lie beneath the imagined stars, you feel no threat from this influence. It does not tear things apart violently. It does not rush. It does not intrude. Expansion remains smooth, continuous, calm. Galaxies drift apart like boats carried by a widening current, not pushed by storms. You sense that the universe is not fighting itself. Gravity and dark energy are not enemies. They are complementary tendencies, each shaping different scales. One builds islands of matter. The other expands the sea between them. Together, they create structure and spaciousness. This understanding brings a deep calm. Nothing needs to dominate completely. Balance does not require equality, only coexistence. The universe holds both gathering and release, closeness and distance, formation and expansion. As your thoughts soften, you notice how naturally this rhythm matches your own breathing. Inhale gathers. Exhale releases. Neither is permanent. Both are necessary. The universe breathes too, in its own immense way, guided by influences both seen and unseen. Dark energy remains mysterious, but not frightening. Mystery does not mean chaos. It means there is more to understand than you currently hold. And for now, understanding is not required. Only presence. You feel yourself drifting closer to rest, curiosity intact but unburdened. There is more to explore, more ways humans have learned about this invisible influence. They did not find it directly. They listened to light, ancient and patient, carrying stories across time. And as your awareness gently fades, you sense that the next step in this journey follows that light, traveling vast distances to whisper what space itself is doing. You turn your attention now to light, the softest guide the universe offers. It arrives without sound, without weight, and yet it carries more information than anything else that reaches you. As you rest beneath the night sky, every point of brightness above is a message that has been traveling far longer than you have been alive. Light does not rush, even though it moves faster than anything else we know. It keeps a steady pace, patient and reliable. When a distant star shines, its light begins a journey that may last millions or even billions of years. By the time it reaches your eyes, the star itself may have changed, or even faded away. Light carries the past gently into the present. You imagine these beams of light moving through expanding space, stretched along the way. As the universe grows, the light traveling through it grows too, its wavelength lengthening, its color shifting slightly toward red. This stretching is subtle, but meaningful. It is one of the universe's quiet signatures, a way space leaves fingerprints on everything that passes through it. Scientists learn to listen to these fingerprints. They do not touch galaxies or measure space directly. Instead, they read the stories written into light. A galaxy's brightness tells how far away it is. Its color tells how much space has stretched since that light began its journey. Together, these clues reveal how the universe has been expanding over time. You sense the patience required for this work. There is no instant answer, no single observation that explains everything. Patterns emerge only after long listening, careful comparison, and gentle doubt. Light must be gathered from many directions, from many distances, from many eras of cosmic history. Some of this light comes from stars that live brief, brilliant lives. Certain stars end in powerful explosions, shining with a predictable brightness. These events become cosmic reference points, like candles placed at known distances. By comparing how bright they appear from Earth to how bright they truly are, scientists learn how far away they must be. You imagine these stellar explosions not as violence, but as signals. One last, luminous breath from a dying star, sent across space to help others understand the universe it once inhabited. Even endings serve knowledge here. Nothing is wasted. As these signals accumulate, a picture slowly forms. Light from very distant galaxies shows that long ago, expansion was slower. Light from nearer galaxies shows expansion moving faster now. The universe's pace has changed, and light remembers both rhythms clearly. This realization comes not with certainty at first, but with quiet surprise. Data does not shout. It whispers. The universe does not announce acceleration openly. It reveals it only through careful attention, through differences so small they might be overlooked without patience. You feel how remarkable this is. Without leaving Earth, without touching distant space, humans learn the universe's behavior by welcoming light into instruments and minds. Knowledge arrives softly, carried by ancient photons that have crossed unimaginable emptiness. You let the idea sink in that every ray of light is shaped by the space it travels through. As space stretches, light stretches with it. This stretching does not damage the light. It simply changes its tone, like a melody played more slowly. By measuring these changes, scientists reconstruct the universe's expansion history. They do not guess wildly. They infer carefully. They test, revise, and test again. Over time, the conclusion becomes unavoidable. Something unseen is influencing space itself. You notice how fitting it is that light, which has no mass, becomes the messenger of something equally intangible. Dark energy does not glow, but light reveals its effects. The universe speaks in contrasts, using the visible to hint at the invisible. There is comfort in this indirect knowing. Not everything must be grasped directly to be real. You already trust many things you cannot see. The wind by its touch, time by its passing, emotion by its presence. Dark energy joins this quiet category of truths known by consequence. As your breathing slows, you imagine light still traveling, still stretching, still carrying information forward. Even now, new photons are leaving distant galaxies, beginning journeys that will outlast civilizations. The universe is generous with its stories, even if they take time to arrive. You sense how listening to light requires humility. The messages are old. They do not adapt to your expectations. They arrive as they are, asking to be understood on their own terms. There is no shortcut, only attention. This attention reveals something profound. Space is not just expanding, it is doing so in a way that accelerates smoothly and consistently. Light confirms this across different distances and eras. The conclusion does not depend on one method alone. Many independent observations agree, like overlapping whispers forming a clear tone. You feel a quiet satisfaction in this convergence. Knowledge here is not fragile. It is layered, reinforced, patient. The universe allows itself to be known gradually, rewarding care rather than haste. As you drift deeper into calm, you realize that light does more than measure expansion. It also reveals the nature of space itself. If space can stretch light, then space is active, responsive, dynamic. It is not a void. It participates. This idea begins to glow softly in your thoughts. Space is not empty. It has properties. It behaves. It responds to influences like dark energy, The universe is not made of objects floating in nothingness. It is a fabric, gently shaped by what it contains. Light helps you see this, not by illuminating space directly, but by showing how space affects what moves through it. You find this indirectness soothing. The universe does not reveal itself all at once. It invites understanding slowly, in layers. As sleep draws nearer, your curiosity remains calm and open. You have followed light across time and learned how it whispers truths about expansion. Now, another idea waits just beyond the horizon of thought. If light is stretched by space, and space responds to dark energy, then perhaps space itself is more alive than you once imagined. You rest with the thought that space itself may be doing something. Not serving as a stage, not waiting passively for matter and light to pass through, but participating quietly in the universe's unfolding. This idea does not arrive loudly. It settles gently, like realizing the room around you has been breathing all along. For a long time, it is natural to imagine space as nothing at all. An absence. A gap between objects. Stars appear scattered across an empty backdrop, galaxies floating in a vast void. Even the word space suggests distance rather than substance. Yet the universe keeps offering hints that this emptiness is not empty in the way silence is not silent. You begin to feel the difference. Space stretches. It responds. It changes how light moves and how distances grow. These are not the behaviors of nothing. They are the behaviors of something subtle, something without form, but not without influence. When the universe expands, galaxies are not racing through space like sparks flying outward. Instead, the space between them grows. The distances lengthen not because objects move faster, but because the fabric connecting them loosens. Expansion becomes less like motion and more like transformation. You imagine space as a soft fabric, not woven tightly, but gently flexible. When pulled, it stretches evenly. When left alone, it still holds tension and character. Dark energy does not push galaxies apart directly. It affects the fabric itself, encouraging it to stretch more willingly over time. This realization changes everything quietly. If space stretches, then it has properties. It can respond to conditions. It can behave differently depending on what fills it, or perhaps even regardless of that. Space stops being a backdrop and becomes a participant. You feel comfort in this shift. Participation implies continuity, not chaos. Space does not tear or ripple violently. It stretches smoothly, consistently, everywhere at once. There is no center, no edge, no preferred direction. Every region experiences the same gentle permission to expand. Dark energy begins to feel less like a mysterious force acting from outside, and more like a rule written into space itself. Wherever space exists, this tendency exists too. The more space there is, the more room there is for stretching to matter. You notice how natural this feels when imagined slowly. As matter thins over time, gravity weakens across large scales. But space does not weaken. Its properties remain. Dark energy does not fade as the universe grows. It grows with the universe simply by having more space in which to exist. This is why acceleration feels inevitable rather than dramatic. Expansion feeds on itself, not explosively, but calmly. More space allows more influence. More influence allows easier stretching. The universe eases into this behavior the way a body eases into rest. You reflect on how strange it once felt to think of space as active. Now it feels almost obvious. After all, space can curve under gravity. It can stretch light. It can expand. These are actions, not absences. Space is not a void. It is a medium. Yet even this word falls short. Space is not filled with something else. It is itself something. Its emptiness is a quality, not a lack. You sit with this paradox without trying to solve it. Some ideas are meant to be felt rather than resolved. You notice how this understanding softens fear. If space is active, then expansion is not a tearing away from structure, but a natural behavior of the universe's foundation. Nothing is being ripped apart. The universe is not breaking. It is relaxing. Galaxies continue to hold together. Stars still orbit. Atoms remain intact. Space stretches only where there is room to stretch, where distances are already vast. Expansion respects what is formed. It does not intrude where closeness still matters. This gentleness is important. Dark energy does not erase the past. It does not undo the conditions that allowed complexity to arise. It arrives after structure, not before. It allows time for stars to shine and planets to form before spaciousness becomes dominant. You imagine the universe learning how to hold both density and openness. First, it gathers. Then, it releases. Neither phase negates the other. They are parts of a longer rhythm, one that unfolds over billions of years. As your breathing slows, you feel how closely this mirrors your own body. Muscles tighten, then soften. Thoughts focus, then drift. Wakefulness gathers attention, then sleep allows it to spread out. Expansion is not loss. It is transition. The idea that emptiness as behavior feels less unsettling now. It feels reassuring. Space does not ignore what happens within it. It responds quietly, consistently, patiently. Dark energy is not an invader. It is an expression. Some scientists describe it as vacuum energy, a baseline hum present even when everything else is removed. Not silence, but a soft tone that never disappears. You imagine this tone filling all of space, even where nothing else exists, guiding how space behaves when left alone. You do not need equations to feel this. You feel it in the calm continuity of the universe. Expansion does not fluctuate wildly. It does not hesitate. It proceeds smoothly, as though following a rule it has always known. You find peace in the idea that the universe does not require constant intervention to function. Its most profound behaviors arise from simple properties expressed over immense scales. Space stretches because stretching is what it does under these conditions. As you lie with this understanding, curiosity remains, but softened. If space acts, then it must interact with other influences. It must coexist with gravity, matter, and light. None exist in isolation. The universe is a conversation, not a monologue. You sense that the next step in this journey lies in understanding how these influences share responsibility. How gathering and release coexist without conflict. How gravity and dark energy shape different chapters of the same story. Your thoughts begin to drift toward balance, toward the idea that the universe is not choosing sides, but maintaining harmony across scales too vast to feel directly. You rest inside a universe that is never pulled in only one direction. Nothing here acts alone. Every motion is answered by another, every tendency softened by a counterweight. As space stretches outward, gravity remains present, steady and attentive, continuing its quiet work of gathering. Gravity is familiar to you. You feel it through weight and grounding, through the way your body settles into rest. In the universe, gravity performs a similar role. It draws matter together, shaping clouds of gas into stars, stars into galaxies, galaxies into families and clusters. It is the reason structure exists at all. Dark energy, by contrast, feels distant and diffuse. It does not shape stars or bind atoms. It works only across immense distances, where space itself becomes the main actor. Yet these two influences do not clash. They share responsibility, each tending to a different scale of existence. You imagine gravity as a careful hand, gathering threads into knots and patterns. Dark energy is more like the space between those threads, slowly widening, giving the patterns room to breathe. One creates form. The other creates openness. Neither cancels the other. This balance is not negotiated. It is not chosen. It emerges naturally from the universe's conditions. Where matter is dense, gravity speaks loudly. Where matter thins and distances grow vast, dark energy becomes noticeable. The universe listens to both, responding according to scale. You find comfort in this division. There is no sudden takeover, no dramatic shift where one force overwhelms everything else. Instead, influence changes gradually with time and distance. The universe adapts without disruption, like a landscape changing slowly with the seasons. On the scale of galaxies, gravity still reigns. Stars orbit calmly. Spiral arms maintain their shape. Even clusters of galaxies remain bound, their mutual gravity strong enough to resist the stretching of space. Expansion does not tear these structures apart. It simply carries them gently away from other, distant structures. This detail matters. The universe's acceleration does not threaten what already exists nearby. It does not invade local spaces. It respects closeness. Dark energy does not pull galaxies apart from within. It operates only where gravity has already weakened due to distance. You imagine leaves floating on a wide river. Each leaf remains intact, its structure unchanged. Yet over time, the leaves drift farther from one another as the river widens. The widening does not harm the leaves. It simply increases the space between them. In this way, gravity and dark energy cooperate without awareness. One maintains the integrity of each leaf. The other shapes the river itself. The universe feels less like a battleground and more like a system of shared responsibilities. You sense how long this balance has lasted. For billions of years, gravity dominated enough to allow complexity to arise. Stars lived long lives. Elements formed. Planets took shape. Life became possible. Only after this long chapter of gathering did release become noticeable on the largest scales. This timing feels gentle rather than accidental. The universe does not rush through its phases. It allows each tendency its time. Gathering first, then spaciousness. Neither phase erases the other. They overlap, blending slowly rather than replacing abruptly. As you lie with this thought, you feel how deeply balance resonates with your own experience. You know the need for both closeness and distance, focus and rest, holding on and letting go. Too much of either becomes uncomfortable. Harmony lives in the space between extremes. The universe seems to understand this instinctively. It does not collapse inward completely, nor does it tear itself apart. It finds a middle path where structure can exist within an ever-expanding context. Stability within change. Gravity continues its patient work even as expansion accelerates. It does not give up. It simply becomes less influential across vast distances. Its voice softens, but never disappears entirely. Even in a future of wide-open space, gravity will still bind what remains close. You imagine this balance as a slow conversation rather than a struggle. Gravity says, "Come together." Dark energy replies, "Make room." Neither raises its voice. Neither demands dominance. Together, they shape the universe's texture. This perspective dissolves fear. Acceleration is not a sign of instability. It is a sign of evolution. The universe is not unraveling. It is transitioning into a phase where distance becomes more prominent than density. You feel how this balance extends into time itself. Early eras were shaped by gravity's urgency, forming structure quickly. Later eras are shaped by dark energy's patience, allowing space to grow quietly. The universe matures by shifting emphasis, not by abandoning its past. As your breathing deepens, you sense that balance does not mean permanence. Conditions continue to change. Matter will continue to thin. Space will continue to stretch. Over immense spans of time, dark energy's influence will grow relative to gravity on large scales. Yet even this future holds calm rather than drama. No sudden collapse. No violent rupture. Just a gradual easing apart, leaving behind islands of structure in a vast, quiet sea of space. You feel peace in knowing that nothing precious is rushed away. Stars will still live out their lifetimes. Galaxies will remain bound internally. Local worlds will continue their rhythms, unaffected by the widening beyond them. The universe honors what is close while allowing what is distant to drift. This respect for scale feels deeply wise. It suggests a cosmos that does not force uniformity, but allows different behaviors to coexist where they belong. As you drift closer to sleep, curiosity remains, gently directed toward what comes next. If dark energy continues to influence expansion, and if gravity continues to gather locally, what determines how strong this outward tendency truly is? Is dark energy constant, unwavering, always the same? Or does it change slowly with time, adapting as the universe evolves? You rest with a new kind of curiosity now, softer and slower. The universe expands. Space stretches. Balance holds. And beneath all of this motion, a question waits patiently. Is dark energy changing, or has it always been the same? Is it something temporary, or something written into the universe from the very beginning? You imagine constancy, not as stiffness, but as quiet reliability. Something that does not need to announce itself because it never leaves. The idea of a constant feels calming, especially at cosmic scale. A steady presence that does not fluctuate with mood or moment. A rule that holds even as everything else changes. Some scientists suggest that dark energy behaves exactly this way. It may be constant, unchanging in strength, woven permanently into the fabric of space. Not added later. Not emerging suddenly. Simply there, from the universe's earliest moments, waiting for the right conditions to become noticeable. You picture the early universe again, dense and crowded, full of matter and radiation. In that environment, dark energy is still present, but quiet, overshadowed. Like a whisper in a room full of voices. It does not disappear. It simply waits. As time passes and space grows, the room empties. Matter spreads out. Voices fade. And the whisper becomes audible, not because it grows louder, but because everything else grows quieter. Dark energy reveals itself through patience rather than force. This interpretation feels gentle. It suggests that the universe does not invent new rules as it goes along. It unfolds the ones it already has. Dark energy does not interrupt cosmic history. It completes it. You sit with the idea that space itself might carry a built-in tendency to expand. Not as a reaction, but as a preference. Left alone, space stretches. It relaxes. It opens. Dark energy may simply describe this behavior, given a name so it can be studied and spoken about. In this view, the universe is not being pushed apart by something external. It is following its own nature. Expansion accelerates because space is allowed to behave as it always could, once matter thins enough to stop restraining it. You feel how different this is from imagining dark energy as a force that turns on. There is no switch, no beginning. Just a gradual shift in influence. Gravity dominates when things are close. Dark energy dominates when things are far apart. The universe moves smoothly between these regimes. Constancy does not mean simplicity, though. Even a constant can produce complex outcomes when expressed across immense scales of time and distance. A small, steady tendency, applied everywhere, eventually reshapes the entire future. You think about how rivers carve landscapes not through sudden force, but through persistence. Water flows the same way every day, yet over centuries it transforms mountains. Dark energy may work similarly, shaping the universe not through drama, but through duration. This makes the future feel calm rather than alarming. If dark energy is constant, then the universe's acceleration will remain smooth and predictable. No sudden tearing. No abrupt changes. Just continued widening, slow and steady, like an endless exhale. You find comfort in predictability here. Mystery does not vanish, but it softens. Knowing that something may remain the same allows the mind to rest. Change becomes gradual, not threatening. Yet you also sense humility in this idea. Even if dark energy is constant, its origin remains unknown. Why does space behave this way at all? Why does emptiness have energy? These questions remain open, not because they are impossible, but because the universe is deep. You let yourself accept that some answers unfold slowly, perhaps across generations. Science does not rush. It listens, tests, refines. It allows uncertainty to coexist with understanding. As you lie with this thought, time feels different. Billions of years stretch out like a quiet road ahead. Galaxies will drift farther apart. Light will take longer to cross the widening distances. The night sky of the far future will look emptier, quieter. And yet, nothing feels lost. What exists locally will remain. Stars will still shine in their time. Gravity will still gather what is near. The constant nature of dark energy does not erase meaning. It reshapes context. You notice how this mirrors your own inner life. Some things change quickly. Others remain steady beneath everything else. Values. rhythms, breathing. A constant does not prevent growth. It supports it. Dark energy, if constant, becomes part of the universe's identity. Not an anomaly, but a feature. Something to be understood rather than feared. Something that invites contemplation rather than urgency. As sleep draws closer, you sense that constancy does not end curiosity. It redirects it. If dark energy is steady, then the mystery shifts from how it changes to why it exists at all. From behavior to origin. And if it is not constant, if it evolves slowly over time, then an even deeper mystery waits. One that asks how the universe's rules themselves might adapt. For now, you rest with the possibility of steadiness. A universe guided by a quiet, unwavering tendency toward openness. A cosmos that changes not by reinventing itself, but by expressing what was always there. Your breathing slows. Thoughts stretch gently. Time feels wide and unhurried. You rest now in a quieter space of understanding, where answers are not demanded and questions are allowed to breathe. The universe has shown you patterns, behaviors, consistencies. Yet it has not handed over a final explanation. Instead, it invites you to sit among ideas, holding them gently rather than tightly. Science often feels like a search for certainty, but here, at the edge of understanding, it becomes something softer. A practice of patience. A willingness to say, this is what we see, without insisting, this is all there is. Dark energy lives in this gentle territory, where evidence is strong but interpretation remains open. You imagine scientists not as conquerors of mystery, but as careful listeners. They gather observations like smooth stones, turning each one slowly in their hands. They compare shapes, weights, textures. They notice patterns without forcing them to align too quickly. Some ideas suggest dark energy is truly constant, unchanging across time. Others wonder if it evolves slowly, almost imperceptibly, its influence shifting as the universe ages. These possibilities coexist, not in conflict, but in quiet dialogue. You feel how unusual this is compared to everyday thinking. The human mind often seeks closure. It prefers firm answers, clear boundaries. Yet the universe does not always offer those. Instead, it rewards openness. It allows multiple ideas to stand side by side, waiting for further insight. One possibility imagines dark energy as the simplest option, a constant property of space, present everywhere, always the same. This idea feels elegant, minimal, restful. It requires no added complexity, no new behavior over time. Space expands because this is how space behaves. Another possibility imagines dark energy as something dynamic, slowly changing as the universe grows older. Not dramatic, not erratic, but evolving subtly. In this view, the universe's future might differ slightly from its present expectations. Expansion could change pace, not abruptly, but gently. You notice that neither idea disrupts calm. Both lead to futures that unfold slowly, without violence. The difference lies not in emotional tone, but in philosophical depth. One suggests permanence. The other suggests gradual adaptation. You find comfort in how carefully these ideas are handled. No one rushes to declare victory over the unknown. Instead, each possibility is tested against observation, allowed to remain provisional. Knowledge here is humble. You sense how deeply this humility is woven into good science. To know what you do not yet know is not weakness. It is clarity. It keeps curiosity alive without turning it into anxiety. Dark energy, in this light, becomes less of a puzzle to solve and more of a companion question to live with. Something that shapes understanding without demanding resolution. Something that reminds you the universe is larger than any single explanation. As you lie with this thought, you feel the relief of letting go. You do not need to grasp everything before you can rest. The universe continues its expansion whether you understand it fully or not. Mystery does not interrupt motion. You imagine the many minds that have contributed to this exploration. Generations of thinkers, each adding a small piece. None holding the entire picture. Each offering perspective, refining ideas, questioning assumptions. This collective patience feels deeply human. Knowledge does not arrive fully formed. It grows, slowly, across time, shaped by curiosity rather than urgency. The universe seems to encourage this pace, revealing itself only as quickly as attention allows. You notice how this mirrors your own inner process. Some questions in life resolve quickly. Others remain open for years. They mature with you, changing shape as you change. Dark energy feels like that kind of question. Holding uncertainty gently does not mean giving up. It means trusting the process. It means recognizing that understanding unfolds layer by layer, not all at once. Rest comes not from knowing everything, but from knowing that knowing is ongoing. You feel how this approach removes fear from the unknown. Mystery is no longer a void. It is a space of possibility. A place where imagination and evidence meet without conflict. The universe does not punish uncertainty. It accommodates it. It allows ideas to evolve just as space itself evolves. There is no final exam, no moment when all questions must be answered at once. As your breathing deepens, you sense that this openness creates room for wonder. If dark energy were fully explained, fully boxed in, some of its quiet beauty might fade. Mystery adds texture to understanding. You imagine standing beneath the stars again, knowing what you know, and also knowing what you do not. The sky does not feel smaller for being partially understood. It feels larger, more alive, more generous. You realize that unanswered questions have guided science forward for centuries. They act as gentle invitations rather than demands. Dark energy joins a long list of such invitations, encouraging deeper listening rather than quick conclusions. This perspective allows you to rest more fully. You do not need certainty to feel connected to the universe. You are already part of it, moving with its expansion, shaped by its history, carried into its future. As sleep approaches, thoughts slow further. The many ideas you hold do not compete. They coexist peacefully, like stars scattered across the sky. You do not need to choose between them tonight. You sense that eventually, evidence reminds humans which ideas align more closely with reality. Until then, patience prevails. Curiosity stays soft. Understanding grows without pressure. And beyond these ideas lies a future still unfolding. One shaped by whichever explanation proves closest to truth. A future that stretches far beyond the present moment, into regions of space and time you can only imagine. As your awareness drifts, you feel ready to look ahead, not for answers, but for atmosphere. For the quiet mood of what lies far in the distance. The universe continues to expand, carrying its questions with it. You drift forward now, carried not by motion but by imagination. You journey across billions, even trillions of years, into the far future of the universe. Stars you once knew have flickered and faded. Galaxies have drifted farther apart. Light itself takes longer and longer to traverse the expanding void. Space is not chaotic here. It is quiet, vast, gentle in its slow unfolding. The acceleration that dark energy provides has continued its patient work. Distances stretch so wide that once visible neighbors vanish from each other's view. Galaxies that were once close become isolated islands in a sea of space. Yet even in this thinning, there is no violence. Expansion is smooth, like a river that widens into the ocean without turbulence. You notice how time feels different in this distant era. Events are slower, or at least they appear so from any single vantage point. Light from surviving stars drifts across enormous distances, taking millions of years to arrive. Each photon is a relic, a message from a distant past. The cosmos becomes a memory machine, preserving traces of what once was even as space grows ever more spacious. Yet structure remains. Where matter has already gathered, it continues to hold together. Galaxies, clusters, and stars persist in their internal harmony. Gravity is still at work locally, ensuring that nothing crucial is torn apart by acceleration. Expansion affects primarily the spaces in between, the enormous voids stretching ever wider, leaving islands intact amidst the vast emptiness. You feel a deep sense of calm in this realization. The universe does not end in fire or abrupt catastrophe. There is no sudden collapse, no violent tearing. Everything unfolds gradually, according to patterns that were set long ago. Change happens over such scales that fear loses relevance. Time itself becomes expansive, not urgent. You imagine a night sky in this far future. From a single galaxy, only a few distant lights remain. Many stars have burned out. Many galaxies are now invisible to each other. Yet even in apparent emptiness, there is continuity. The universe keeps expanding, space keeps stretching, and the rules remain consistent. There is beauty in this endurance. This vision allows you to see dark energy in its full scale. It is not dramatic, but its influence dominates. Where gravity once shaped the universe's large-scale motion, dark energy now gently dictates the rhythm of vast distances. Its effect is cumulative, subtle, but unstoppable. Expansion is no longer a minor participant, it has become the defining characteristic of the cosmos. You realize how profoundly slow this change is. In human terms, it is nearly incomprehensible. The universe's future stretches out beyond imagination, measured not in lifetimes but in eons. Yet even this extreme duration carries a kind of softness. Nothing rushes. Nothing panics. Expansion is patient, inevitable, but never violent. The far future also evokes reflection on scale. What seems immense today will feel small in this grand perspective. Clusters of galaxies that once seemed isolated will appear as islands in an ever-widening ocean. Distance itself becomes a property that defines the universe, more than matter or light. Vast emptiness dominates the scene, yet it is not frightening, it is serene. You notice that even as galaxies drift apart, light continues to carry stories across space. Each photon is a messenger from the past, a reminder of structure and history. Some may never reach another galaxy. Some may travel forever without arriving. Yet in this quiet persistence, there is meaning. Time and space preserve continuity, even when isolation grows absolute. You feel a deep connection to these cosmic rhythms. Expansion mirrors processes you know personally: breathing, growth, the slow unfolding of experience. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is abrupt. Even endings are drawn out, allowing space for reflection, memory, and gentle observation. The universe's far future also highlights the coexistence of forces. Gravity continues to govern what is near, ensuring coherence within galaxies and clusters. Dark energy governs what is far, encouraging space to stretch. There is no struggle. There is no imbalance. These opposing tendencies are not enemies. They create a cosmos that is both structured and open, dense and spacious, local and vast. You sense that this balance is delicate yet enduring. Over unimaginable spans, dark energy will eventually dominate even more fully, stretching the fabric of space ever wider. Gravity will persist only where matter is concentrated. The universe will become increasingly sparse, but not chaotic. There is a rhythm here, slow and predictable, written into the fabric of reality. You imagine the experience of observing this universe. From a single vantage point, stars slowly fade, galaxies recede beyond detection, and darkness dominates. Yet this darkness is not emptiness as you might fear. It is a vast canvas for possibility, a calm field of space that allows the mind to expand along with it. Isolation here is not loneliness, it is freedom, a gentle unfolding of scale. As you drift through this vision, you feel awe at the scale and patience of the cosmos. Expansion is not a single event. It is a story that began with the first moments of space and time and continues without interruption. Dark energy acts quietly, consistently, invisibly, but profoundly. The universe does not collapse under its own laws. It unfolds, steadily and deliberately, for eons beyond counting. You sense that endings in this universe are different from endings in human experience. Nothing is snatched away suddenly. Nothing stops abruptly. Expansion is endless, but gentle. Structure remains as long as it can, then fades gradually. Light travels ever farther, witnesses of what was and what persists. Even decay feels like a continuation, an elongation of motion, not a loss. And in this gentle unfolding, you realize that the far future is not a place of fear. It is a place of calm. It is a testament to the patient power of simple rules applied over immense scales. Gravity and dark energy, structure and emptiness, gathering and release all coexist, allowing the universe to continue without drama, without urgency, without cessation. You notice your own heartbeat echoing this rhythm. Slow. Steady. Expansive. You are carried by the universe's scale, yet anchored by its predictability. Even when isolated, you feel part of this cosmic balance, connected through understanding, imagination, and shared rhythm. As you prepare to leave this vision, you feel gratitude for the patience of the universe. Expansion continues. Light travels. Galaxies drift apart. Yet the cosmos remains coherent, structured, and serene. There is no hurry, no collapse, only an endless, gentle stretching of space and time. Your mind rests in this immensity. Even as you drift closer to sleep, you feel the quiet lesson of Thes. You return now from visions of the far future, bringing your attention back to the night sky above. The stars are still scattered across the darkness, each one a steady point of light, each one a whisper of the universe's long story. You rest beneath them, breathing slowly, letting your body soften into the earth's support. The cosmos continues its quiet motion, unseen yet deeply present. Even as you lie still, you sense the unseen hand of dark energy stretching space gently around every galaxy, including the one you call home. It is not violent, not sudden, not urgent. It flows quietly, like the tide under a calm moon. You do not see it, yet its influence shapes everything in ways both subtle and vast. You notice how comforting it is to acknowledge the unknown without demanding mastery over it. Not every question requires a complete answer to bring peace. Some questions are companions rather than obstacles. Dark energy is one of these companions. It moves the universe while allowing you to rest in it, participating in its rhythm without rushing or intruding. Your thoughts drift to the past chapters of your journey, the quiet stretches of the night sky, the early universe, the invisible weight that pushes outward, light traveling billions of years to reach your eyes. Each moment has carried you closer to understanding, not through certainty, but through observation, reflection, and a gentle acceptance of mystery. The present feels alive with the knowledge that the universe's expansion continues effortlessly. Galaxies drift apart, space stretches, light travels. You, too, are part of this motion, moving along the currents of time and space, intimately connected to a story far larger than yourself. There is no need for intervention. Participation alone is enough. You imagine the universe as a vast, flowing fabric, stretching in every direction. It is both familiar and unimaginable, intimate and immense. Within it, stars ignite and fade, galaxies orbit, and space itself expands under the influence of forces that are constant, subtle, patient. You feel yourself suspended within this flow, not controlling it, not resisting it, simply present. There is a profound beauty in this realization. The cosmos is not chaotic or indifferent, it is steady, consistent, and patient. Expansion occurs on scales that dwarf comprehension, yet it does so with rhythm and grace. Dark energy does not push violently. It coexists with gravity, forming a balance that shapes both structure and emptiness. Harmony exists without ceremony, without drama. As your awareness softens, you feel the gentle interweaving of forces that guide the universe. Gravity gathers locally, forming stars, clusters, and galaxies. Dark energy expands the distances between them, encouraging openness across the cosmos. Neither is overpowering. Both are necessary. Both are part of a larger whole. Balance is maintained effortlessly, yet with precision. You notice how this cosmic rhythm mirrors your own inner state. Your breath flows in and out, steady and reliable. Thoughts gather and release, focus and drift. Awareness expands and contracts, reflecting the same gentle motion that drives galaxies across space. Participation in this flow brings both calm and connection. You rest in the knowledge that uncertainty is not absence. Dark energy remains unseen, yet its effects are real, pervasive, and deeply shaping. It reminds you that presence is more important than mastery. Understanding is not always immediate. Patience is required, and in patience, you find serenity. Mystery itself becomes a comfort. You allow yourself to feel small within the vastness, yet not insignificant. Being part of the universe's motion, no matter how minute your scale, connects you intimately to the ongoing expansion of space. Your life, your thoughts, your very existence unfold in parallel with galaxies drifting apart and light traveling vast distances. You are entwined with the cosmos. Your attention drifts to light once more, the faint glow of distant stars, carrying stories across billions of years. Each photon is a messenger, preserving information about structure, motion, and change. Observing it requires patience, yet it rewards attention. Like the universe itself, understanding comes gently, gradually, without hurry. You feel a quiet sense of gratitude for the patient, unassuming forces that guide existence. Dark energy, gravity, and the stretching fabric of space are not obstacles or threats. They are companions in a story whose scale is both immense and intimate. Their presence allows structure to form, distance to grow, and life to experience wonder. As sleep draws near, your mind slows further. Thoughts and observations intertwine softly, like galaxies in orbit, never colliding, always in motion. You notice that you do not need to resolve every mystery tonight. You do not need to answer every question. The universe continues expanding, carrying its secrets, its balance, and its gentle rhythm along with you. You rest in this state, where curiosity and calm coexist. The universe is immense, expanding, patient, and steady. You are part of it, quietly moving, breathing, observing. Mystery is no longer intimidating. It is welcoming, a companion that invites you to rest within it, to be present, to be aware without striving. In the quiet, the thought forms that your participation matters. Not in action or control, but in presence and attention. The cosmos unfolds as it must, yet your consciousness, your awareness, adds a layer of connection, a witness to the patient stretching of space. You are a note within a vast, ongoing symphony. You feel the ease that comes from letting go of the need to comprehend fully. Questions about dark energy, cosmic expansion, and the fate of the universe do not need immediate answers. Their presence enriches your awareness, deepening both wonder and calm. Mystery is not a void, it is a space for reflection, for imagination, for rest. As the night deepens and your body relaxes further, the awareness of the universe's continuous expansion becomes part of your own rhythm. Breath, thought, heartbeat all move in subtle resonance with the cosmos. The vast, slow unfolding of space mirrors your own internal flow. You notice that even as the universe grows ever larger, this knowledge brings intimacy rather than distance. You feel close to the stars, to the invisible forces, to the fabric of space itself. Dark energy, though unseen, is no longer abstract. Its quiet influence connects everything: galaxies, light, time, and yourself. And as your awareness softens into rest, the vastness does not intimidate. It comforts. It assures. It surrounds you with continuity, balance, and quiet motion. You are part of a universe that expands gently, patiently, endlessly. You belong within its rhythm, its mystery, and its calm.